Um, there is another shooting by ICE in Minneapolis, and completely incompetent agency. 37-year-old Alex Preti, ICE
We
nurse.
do have video
Okay.
now that we're able to share with you.
Okay, is there gonna be like, can I get a video? I seen this already. Yeah, dude, it's like I end stream and unfortunately, and then shit happens.
Chris Rapsky joining us now to talk a little bit more about
media. It appears federal agents.
All right.
Today, we verified that much. We want to show you, and there's other videos that show the same person at the same time. So that's why we feel like this is authenticated and we're able to air it right now. We're going to pause it right before the shot of this man going limp, but we're going to watch it several times here and show you exactly what we're seeing on this video.
You would never see this from like trained police officers, by the way. It's pretty like, this is like the pretty like a very big indicator that the people at ICE are like moronic dipshits.
This video starts with federal agents trying to detain a man who's in like a khaki colored sort of jacket and pants. The man can be seen
Okay, there's just background audio.
The man can be seen on his knees on the ground with two agents on top of him trying to detain him. It's unclear if these agents know this man is armed. It's unclear if the man threatened them in any way. We don't know any of that. These agents are aggressively on top of this man. And a third, what appears to be an agent, with a tan-colored coat and jeans, we're going to keep watching, spins.
Sorry, gotta sneeze. Completely innocent man shot dead by ICE. Like, this is an execution. Like, straight up, just an execution. Oh. Requested support. And, like, this already fuels the flames, or fuels the fire on the protests that are already happening. This just, like, amplifies what's already happening in Minneapolis. Oh, here we go. I'd rather go through AP News than CNN. And I'm, yeah, doubling down on the protest as well now. Ooh, okay, so game postponed as well.
Back up! Back up! Hey!
Yeah, it's pretty clear that, like, these fucking dipshit ICE agents have no idea what they're fucking doing. Wow, they are enjoying this. It is, oh my god.
Stop! Look out!
Yeah, you got this, man.
Damn!
Yeah, they're trying to justify it by saying he had a gun in his car, which he did not. I believe he didn't have a gun. And even if he had a gun in his car, it wasn't on him, like on his person.
That's you now! When you learn about Nazis, that's you now! When you learn about Nazis,
That is not a Minnesota accent. Move, move, move! Alright, bitch. Yeah, there's no visible weapon. And several bystanders have already said, like, oh no, he didn't have a weapon. He was just, I mean, an ICU nurse. Like, this guy absolutely has saved lives as well. Defensive shots after a man with a handgun approached them and violently resisted. When officers tried to disarm him, the police chief believed the man was a lawful gun owner with a permit to carry. Oh, here's a bystander video. This video specifically is at an angle to where we can truly see what's like actually going on. And I'll try to pause it before anything like too graphic happens. Yeah, like police wouldn't do this shit. Like trained police officers are not trained to do this shit. Oh, okay. And like these ICE agents, like this is their like every ICE agent wants to be like in this position to be able to do this. By the way, every single ICE agent wants to shoot an unarmed civilian. They are Jan Sixers and Proud Boys who believe that the country is falling and that they need to defend it with violent resistance.
Call 911. I'm calling 911. I know. Keep him safe. You need to sit down.
Video shifts to a different part of the street and then comes back into two individuals unlinking from each other. Video shifts again to 3 officers surrounding the man. Soon at least 7 officers surround the man. One is the man's back and one who appears to have a canister in his hike strikes a blow to the man's chest. Several officers try to bring the man's arm behind his back as he appears to resist. As they pull their arms, his face is briefly visible on camera. The officer with the canister strikes the man near his head several times. So like they're striking him in the head with a canister. I guarantee for a fact there was absolutely no way that they weren't able to get him. They just wanted to shoot him. And thankfully they're calling for the impeachment of Kristi Noem, which I think Kristi Noem will be impeached. I truly believe that Kristi Noem will get impeached. It's pretty clear that the Trump admin doesn't want anything to do with her anymore. I mean, I'm not like it's devastating, but I'm not surprised it happened. Like I was saying on like what last week or earlier this week that this was gonna happen. I knew, or I didn't know. I mean, I figured that the protests would ramp up, and the ICE officers, being the insane psychopaths that they are, would take the opportunity to murder unarmed people. They get a turn on for this shit. It's fucking disgusting. He cared about people deeply. He was very upset at what happened in Minneapolis and thought, and throughout the United States with ICE, millions of others upset. I felt like doing the protesting was a way to express that, his care for others. He was a citizen born in Illinois. Like good court records show, he had no criminal record. His family said he never had any interaction with law enforcement besides a couple traffic tickets and a recent conversation with their son. His parents, who live in Wisconsin, told him to be careful when protesting. I don't think this is going to be the last example, by the way, of this happening. I don't believe this will be the last time this happens. Especially in Minnesota. Like ICE officers, Minnesota investigators gather evidence and talk to witnesses despite no contact with DHS. The State Bureau says that's good. I don't want them to work with DHS at all on this. I want them to completely omit DHS from any information. Like genuinely, I don't want DHS to be in this investigation at all. I don't want them to have the ability to skew this. I need Minnesota to be like, no, we'll handle the investigation. Investigators with the Minnesota Bureau of Criminal Apprehension are talking with witnesses and gathering evidence, including various video footage from the fatal shooting Minneapolis man by federal agents today, despite having no contact with federal government, said Drew Evans. I attempted to contact the individual that I was told the overall commander at the scene, and I've received a call back from them. Not able to conduct any work at the shooting site once they had access because it was quickly overrun and overtaken. I'm assuming by ICE officers is what he means. I'm just infinitely like disgusted with the people behind this. And the thing is, I don't know if Democrats will take the opportunity to play the optically positive game and like force ICE to give up the name of this person and then get him arrested. I doubt they will.
Disturbing for anyone who may not want to see.
They should, but they won't.
This
Yeah.
incident, you may want to move out of the room temporarily and then return back to us, where we will evaluate and talk further about this investigation. Again, Minneapolis police say they have not been given details from federal authorities about the circumstances leading up to this shooting, nor details about their investigation. But Minneapolis police do say that they have identified the victim as a 37-year-old white male. So again, we do want to warn you, the video is disturbing, and here it is.
They doing too much, man, and they keep pushing people, you know?
Videotape very upset as they eyewitnessed what the city mayor describes as six masked agents pummeling a resident and then shooting him to his death.
I'm trying to see if Tim Walz specifically has said anything. Hold on. Or maybe Jacob Frey. I don't think either Jacob Frey or Tim Walz have gone in front of camera yet. Oh, no, they have. They both have. I'm an idiot. My apologies.
Donald Trump, I call on you once again. Remove this force from Minnesota. They are sowing chaos and violence. We've seen deadly violence from federal agents again and again and again. But in contrast to that, on these frozen streets,
For the love of God, just say murdered. They're not going to say murdered.
what you witnessed yesterday was the best of Minnesotans, peacefully exercising their First Amendment rights. And I attended in the church basement hundreds of Minnesotans from all faith packing care packages for families that have been ripped apart. Despite the horrific acts by this federal government, Minnesotans are standing up for the rule of law. They're protesting loudly and urgently, but peacefully. It must stay that way, Minnesota. Minnesotans are witnessing, and we're creating a log of evidence for the future prosecution of ICE agents and officials responsible for this. They're helping their neighbors, they're walking their kids to school, they're feeding families. I salute their courage and their restraint, and I call on all Americans to see the decency that this state is exhibiting and the horrific cruelty, unprofessional, absolute abomination that is passing for what
The only thing I wish they would say is this person's death is on Donald Trump. Like, just blame Trump. Please, just blame Trump. Just say, this is your guys' fault. It is your fault that this man is dead.
Administration and everyone involved.
Okay, I don't know why that's only in my left ear. Yeah, they're never going to say murdered because they want to appear unbiased, and then going forward, if like police shoot anybody, they're never going to say the police murdered somebody.
More than 6 masked agents pummeling one of our constituents and shooting him to death. How many more residents, how many more Americans need to die or get badly hurt for this operation to end? How many more lives need to be lost before this administration realizes that a political and partisan narrative is not as important as American values? How many times must local and national leaders must plead with you, Donald Trump, to end this operation and recognize
new clashes
that this is
in
not
Minneapolis.
creating safety in our city? As you'll hear from Director Sayer in just a second, we have seen these kinds of operations in other places, in other countries, but not here in America. Not in a way where a great American city is being invaded by
I do think we're getting to the point of where National Guard and ICE are going to clash,
federal government.
especially after this.
I'm done being told that our community members are responsible for the vitriol in our streets. I'm done being told that our local elected officials are solely responsible for turning down the temperature. Just yesterday, we saw 15,000 people peacefully protesting in the streets, speaking out, standing up for their neighbors. Not a single broken window, not a single injury. Those peaceful protests embody the very principles that both Minneapolis and America was founded upon. Conversely, the mass militarized force and unidentified agents who are occupying our streets, that is what weakens our country. That is what erodes trust in both law enforcement and in democracy itself. So to everyone listening, stand with Minneapolis. Stand up for America. Recognize that your children will ask you what side you were on.
Ooh, that's good. I'm glad he's singing that, as that.
Children will ask you what you did to act to prevent this.
Jacob Frey's being a little bit more like aggressive in his rhetoric, and I do like it.
Again.
Even though I'm not a super big fan of Frey,
Sure
but
the foundational elements of our democracy were rock solid. What did you do to protect your city? What did you do to protect your nation? This is not what America is about. This is not a partisan issue. This is an American issue. This administration and everyone involved in this operation should be reflecting. They should be reflecting right now and asking themselves, what exactly are you accomplishing? If the goal was to achieve peace and safety, this is doing exactly the opposite. If the goal was to achieve calm and prosperity, this is doing exactly the opposite. Are you standing up for American families right now? Or are we tearing them apart? The invasion of these heavily armed masked agents roaming around on our streets of Minneapolis, emboldened with a sense of impunity, it has to end. This is not how it has to be.
that's true.
So, to President Trump, this is a moment to act like a leader.
Oh,
Put me.
I mean, I guess, but stop. Like, can we stop talking to Republicans like they're like rational actors?
Minneapolis, put America first in this moment. Let's achieve peace. Let's end this operation, and I'm telling you, our city will come back. Safety will be restored. We're asking for you to take action now to remove these federal agents.
And then creating a log of evidence. That's actually something good seeing. Like I'm hopeful that like actual persecutions come from this. Also, I didn't mention this earlier, but the Minnesota National Guard was activated by Walz to assist local police in certain high density areas of the protest, especially like federal buildings and then where the shooting happened. Or police force.
They would do something like that, and obviously hopes that tomorrow, you know, everything will be somewhat more normal or safe.
Yeah, they're really close to that scene, and that scene is going to be where there's going to be a vigil tonight at 7 o'clock in memory of Alex Pretty. We are getting a little bit more information about him. We've been showing you these photos today. We told you that he is an ICU nurse at the Veterans Hospital. We're getting a quote now. We expected. Some of you watching right now probably know Alex. We're hearing from someone who does know Alex. And we got this quote from a neighbor saying, he was a great guy and neighbor, very kind, would always be willing to help others. We are all heartbroken and are praying for his family and friends and for justice for him. And that is from Nia, a neighbor of Alex right there. So many condolences rolling in his honor. You know, what we do know so far from Minneapolis Police Chief is that he didn't have a criminal record. We know that he did have a permit to carry, a weapon to carry. We heard from federal officials, though, an account, they're saying that they felt their lives were threatened by Alex, right? So totally different interpretations right there.
And this comes as we're about 10 minutes away hearing from Kristi Noem from Washington, D.C. with an update. At the same
She'll
time,
talk more.
She's going to be talking more. And then obviously, we don't know if this will change, but at the same time, also scheduled at 4 o'clock is for us to hear from local and state lawmakers to discuss this
at 4
as
o'clock.
well.
So yeah,
we
in like
may
10
have
minutes.
These things happening at the same time, where we've got senators and city leaders speaking at the same time that we're hearing from those in D.C. with Kristi Noem also commenting. I just saw in one of our feeds that there's also a candlelight vigil planned for those in St. Paul tonight at 7 o'clock. They are asking people to gather along the sidewalk of Summit Avenue, and that they will have candle and pickup going on. They say, and they make stress this, that this is a peaceful gathering to mourn as a community. They're saying, you know, bring your own candle if possible. If not, you can light a candle in your window tonight. They're working to have more available for people. But hearing of another candlelight vigil for Alex tonight at 7 o'clock on the sidewalk of Summit Ave in
4
St.
p.m.
And all of this going
ET
on with
Eastern
some
time.
serious weather conditions here.
Must be
Below
wrong.
zero
They must
will
mean Central
continue
Time.
to be tonight. So we know that people are really trying to make a point, no matter the temperature, that they're going to show up and pay respects right there.
When Mike was reporting much earlier in the day, he said as cold as it was, he said it was almost like one of those situations where there's just so much adrenaline and so much emotion and passion that you know, the really harsh conditions are almost secondary to what those folks were thinking and feeling at the moment.
Well, I'm very curious to hear from Kristi Noem. You know, it was something that came up in the BCA was that DHS, she's the Secretary of the Department of Homeland Security, of course, is heading this investigation up, because there was a question, BCA, you know, is FBI? No, this is DHS, and she is the head of that. So it will be
like, hold on, I also need to sneeze again. Acting as if Kristi Noem is gonna give a press conference and not just like completely defend the violence is fucking we are Democrats and news media will never directly call out the federal government for like not condemning this murder, endorsing this murder. Oh, Defense Secretary Hegseth. Pete Hegseth posted on X, patriots who work for ICE are, oh my god. Twitter.com. Pete Hegseth. I'm assuming he did this, on his personal account. We have your back 100%. You are saving the country. Shame on the leadership of Minnesota and the lunatics in the street. Yeah, I'm not surprised. I figured that they were gonna run with the That's why they need to stop like treating like Trump and JD Vance and the Fed rural admin like they have the ability to have a rational conversation about this. You cannot treat them like they can have a rational conversation about this. Hegseth, like, honestly, is just a blubbering, drunk fucking idiot. Moderate Democrat from a political swing state made the announcement on Saturday after the fatal shooting in Minneapolis. Oh, shit. Senator Rosen. Yeah, she's a pretty moderate, like, liberal. Oh.
Had 2 loaded magazines and no accessible ID.
Oh, okay.
This looks like a situation where an individual wanted to do maximum damage and massacre law enforcement.
Wanted to massacre.
The suspect also
What?
Had 2 loaded magazines and no accessible ID.
Oh, this is okay. So this is what ICE is saying.
Had 2 loaded.
Yeah, because he had his hands up the entire time.
No accessible ID. This looks like a situation where an individual wanted to do maximum damage and massacre law enforcement.
Fucking vile. Genuinely evil people, chat. Slander? It's not slander. I mean, it's just lying. Again, reiterating, we need Democrats, once they win, to hold these people accountable. We need Democrats to be very, very, very passionate about holding these people accountable and arrest them. Genuinely arrest. Every single person in the admin right now needs to be arrested the second the Trump administration ends.